So my talk will be like 5 real ways to destroy business using vulnerabilities in SAP systems. And I want this thing work. I think I need to USB stick. Okay. Okay, it's almost ready. So I spent about 7 last years in kind of research in SAP security. That's mostly what I do. I work for ERP scan company, and what we do, we provide the solutions and services to secure and assess business applications like SAP. And my talk will be mostly about the large enterprise organizations, like huge companies that most of those companies use business applications like SAP, Oracle, and so on. And of course, all those business applications can make your life much easier, can optimize business processes, but there are so many potential issues in those applications, and they're very critical. Like every data is stored on those systems, like HR data, financial data, and so on. And from my understanding, if I want to get access to some kind of company, I want to go to ERP system. I don't want to break, Windows applications, domain controller, and Cisco system. And there is nothing on it. There's no data on those systems. I want to go directly to business application, take like credit card data, HR data, and so on, or make some fraud inside the system. So my talk will be about SAP. It's the largest business application vendor. And let's go directly to 5 risks. So first risk is very simple. If somebody can get access to business application like SAP, he can get access to credit card data. Of course, you may think that this credit card data is encrypted. And sometimes it's really encrypted because they need to follow like PCI DSS rules, so they need to encrypt this data. So data is encrypted, but somehow you need to get this data in decrypted form, like for some reasons. And for example, there are many ways to decrypt data and credit card data if you have access to SAP. There are specific function modules which called CC card de-envelope. You just run this module, specify the name of specify the credit card, encrypted credit card, and system will decrypt it. And there is another way. There is a special report in SAP system. It's not easy to see that. Anyway, so there is a special report. You just run it, and this report created to find payment cards which will be invalid in specific period of time. So you just specify, now I want to see credit cards that will be invalid in next year. And the system will show you the list of credit cards, the number of credit cards, the users, and the name, and everything. So even if it's encrypted, in a file system, application can get access. Application can decrypt it. The second example is competitive intelligence. We found this vulnerability back in 2009, I think. So the SAP SRM system, Supplier Relationship Management System. Let's say you have, it's a bidding system. So there are multiple suppliers. They sending their tenders, applying tenders into this system. And our goal as a penetration tester was to understand if it's possible, if one supplier can somehow get access to another supplier's data. Because if he can do this, he can find information about the prices and so on, so he can win this bidding. And we successfully make it happen because of the simple vulnerability. It was there were a couple of vulnerabilities. One was a cross-site scripting vulnerability. It was a stored cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. This system, intended to share a document. So you can create a document, your tender, and you can put the cross-site scripting in the name of this document. So when the employee of organization will open this document, he will be infected. You can get access to his session, and from his session you can read all the tender documentation. And there was also another way, more simple. You can just upload HTML page. Inside HTML page you can put JavaScript code. So there is no injection, anything. You just use the default functionality. The third example is intentionally causing manufacturing defects. So SAP systems are not only enterprise resource planning, they also can be used for product lifecycle management, for CAD, for developing some documentation for manufacturing. So let's say you have a manufacturing company, and if you can get this manufacturing company, for example, produce cars, and if you can get access to this PLM application or some kind of other application where this documentation is stored, you can modify the data about, for example, a bolt pressure on the wheel. If you modify this data, so on the plant floor, the new cars will be made with defects. So lots of cars will be defected, and sometimes they will be shipped and somebody buy it. It may be an accident on the road. So the company will need to recall lots of cars. So there will be financial losses, reputation losses, and probably somebody can die because of this accident. And there are many examples of different recalls, like IKEA had to recall lots of beds because they caused the physical damage to kids. So most of those recalls were because of some technical problems. So if it can happen because of technical problems, that somebody can make some modification in the documentation, and those things may happen not because of technical problems, but because of some sophisticated attack from the competitor. For the salary data modification, all the salaries are stored on the ERP system, an HR system, okay? And if you can get access, you can modify salary. Of course, you cannot just directly, modify the salary, because this information is stored in other different documents. But what you can do is you can change the how many additional hours you work per day. So you can say, okay, I have today I worked 2 additional hours. So your salary will be recalculated based on those figures. And that's how you can make your salary bigger. And it's the real example we saw this type of fraud in an organization. And it's quite easy to do this. So there are multiple tables how we can do this. There are multiple transactions and so on. And the final thing is industrial sabotage. It's a known fact that business applications are highly connected with manufacturing systems like SCADA systems, grid systems, and so on. You cannot put your SCADA system outside your network fully. Sometimes you need to have this integration between the business systems just to send some kind of data back and forth. So which means that if you have access to ERP system, you can get access to SCADA system more easily. And if you can get access to this network, there are lots of chances that you can exploit SCADA systems because they're totally insecure. And the only way to secure them is to put them under the firewall. So what people do, they put it under the firewall, but there are some connections that they should open to ERP system, so you can use those connections. And there are multiple ways to do that. So there is a bonus track. There are many other potential risks, some things like modification of financial reports in the business intelligence system and so on. You may ask, how it's possible? And I can say that it's really possible. So those figures are from our report, like SAP Security in Figures, and you can find about 3,000 vulnerabilities in all SAP products. So about 3,000 vulnerabilities were released in SAP products. It's about 5% of total number of vulnerabilities. If you can go to CVE, the total number is about 55, 60,000 of vulnerabilities. So here's a lot. Those are just the figures, how many issues are in different types of applications like ABAP stack and Java stack, business objects, and HANA. So HANA is a new SAP platform. They trying to build everything now on HANA. You can see that there's not so many issues found in HANA right now, but figures telling us that the interest is growing. So like one vulnerability was found in 2011, one in 2012, and almost 10 and maybe more in 2014, and this year is not finished yet, so we have a couple of issues that we will publish later. And there were a couple of real kind of attacks and incidents in this area, like NVIDIA customer care web portal was under attack because of the SAP vulnerability. There were news about the new malware which target SAP users' workstations and steal passwords and send this data to CNC server. So what I can tell you is, if you're interested in how to prevent all those issues and what we can do next, you're welcome to my workshop tomorrow at 3 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. And you're also welcome to look at the EAS-SEC. It's our project. It's like an open project, independent project. It's kind of OWASP, but for the business applications. There are guidelines how to protect business applications, how to protect source code of business applications, and so on. So EAS-SEC.org. And finally, so the critical systems are very complex, and systems is secure as its most insecure component. So you need to do a holistic approach to all business applications, and you can check our websites. So thanks a lot, and you're welcome for my presentation tomorrow.